אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש, אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש.
שבתי בבית אדוני, שבתי כל ימי חיי, לחזות בנועם אדוני, ולבקר בהיכלו, לחזות בנועם אדוני, to gaze upon the beauty of Adonai. Out of the ruins and the rubble, out of the smoke, out of our night of struggle, we can see a ray of hope, one pale thin ray, reaching for the day we can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city, not a city of angels, but we can build a city for all. We may not reach the ending, but we can start slowly but truly mending, brick by brick, heart by heart. Now, maybe now, we start learning how we can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city, not a city of angels, but we can build a city for all.
1, 2, 3. Wherever is your heart, I call home. Wherever is your heart, I call home. Though your feet may take you far from me, I know. Wherever is your heart, I call home. Oh God, forgive my mind. Oh God, forgive my mind when I come home. When I come home. Oh God, forgive my mind. There's a road that's long and winding, it hollers home. I'm calling home. Oh God, forgive my mind. Oh God, forgive my mind when I come home. When I come home. Oh God, forgive my mind. Oh God, forgive my mind when I come home to Erev Shabbat. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש, אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש.
שבתי בבית אדוני, שבתי כל ימי חיי לחזות בנועם אדוני, ולבקר בהיכלו, לחזות בנועם אדוני, to gaze upon the beauty of out of the ruins and the rubble, out of the smoke, out of our night of struggle, we can see a ray of hope, one pale thin ray reaching for the day. We can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city, not a city of angels, but we can build a city for all. We may not reach the ending, but we can start slowly but truly mending, brick by brick, heart by heart. Now, maybe now, we start learning how we can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city, not a city of angels, but we can build a city for all.
1, 2, 3. Wherever is your heart, I call home. Wherever is your heart, I call home. Though your feet may take you far from me, I know. Wherever is your heart, I call home. Oh God, forgive my mind. Oh God, forgive my mind when I come home. When I come home. Oh God, forgive my mind. There's a road that's long and winding, it hollers home. I'm calling home. Oh God, forgive my mind. Oh God, forgive my mind when I come home. When I come home. Oh God, forgive my mind. Oh God, forgive my mind when I come home to Erev Shabbat. your feet may take you far from me, I know.
What was the show about? Oh, we're doing Facebook. Yeah.
Which Warriors?
Wiz. Joy Wiz.
Is he also a musician?
Yeah, he did that show with her Backrack together in New York. And like 10 years ago. And he was like my best friend. And he kind of one of those guys that like disappeared from everybody. Like not disappeared, but like could not keep in touch with any of his friends kind of happened. Whatever he was doing. But he's an amazing musician.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
And wishing everyone a happy new year. I feel like this is a season where, as the nights feel quite a bit dark and bitter, we feel these thresholds with an added layer of resonance. It's a time where, for many of us, we were growing the light over Hanukkah. Some of us were doused in oil that was fried deliciousness. Some of us were escaping from the world. Some of us felt deeply enmeshed in it. It's a time when many of us actually feel caught between the past and the present. Some of us look back on what has been this past year and wish that we had a way to unload so many of the burdens that we have carried. Some of us hold on to treasures and fear that what comes next will mean that we have to set them down. Some of us look before us in the weeks ahead, in the months ahead, with great anticipation, and some of us with dread. And so it's at this precipice we find this interesting conversation of where does the past and where does the future come into the moment for us right now, to give us a sense of clarity about the questions we must ask, and give us a sense of purpose about what comes with the rising of the sun again. My name is Ben Spratt, honored to be leading with our senior cantor, Shana DeLoe. So grateful to be with Jay David, with Daniel, and with Shane. So grateful that the Honorable Roberta Seymour is greeting at the back, I believe also with Val Coleman. So grateful for you both for greeting everyone in this new year here. And we come this week to the center of the great epic of Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. If you don't know the Broadway musical, it's okay. It's a big story with lots of drama of siblings warring with siblings. It's got deception. It's got the accusations of adultery in it, the rise from slavery into visitorship, amazing drama. But at the end of this story, we often see this as resolving with Joseph revealing his identity, hugs and kisses with his brothers, and it's all done. But what comes next in the story is particularly fascinating. Jacob hears word that his long-lost son that he thought to be dead for so many years is in fact alive, that his sons have reunited in what felt like an impossible dramatic scene, and he rushes to go and return to his sons down in Egypt. And we read about his journey that he leaves from Beersheba, and he sets out, and in the midst of his journey, he ends up in the middle of the night, he encounters Babarot Halayla. He encounters God speaking to him in the visions of the night. And God says to him, Jacob, Jacob. And he says, Hineni, I am here. And in the same words of his ancestors that were called to God, he himself finally has that moment. Not in broad daylight, not in the dazzling display of drama on the top of a mountain, but in the moments where he felt caught between the fears of what was and the wonder of what might be. And this leads many of our early sages to ask this question, what did it mean that God would only speak to Jacob in the midst of visions of the night? And this inspires generations later, the great Franz Rosenzweig, to believe that in many ways Jacob in this moment and this story tells us the essence of how we hold Jewish memory. These are his words in the Star of Redemption. Elsewhere, in other cultures, the past and the future, sorry, I keep setting off the mic here. Elsewhere, the past and the future are divorced, the one sinking back, the other coming on. Here, in this story and in Judaism, they grow into one. The bearing of the future is a direct bearing witness to the past. The son is born so that he may bear witness to his father's father. The grandson renews the name of the forebearer. The patriarchs of old call upon their last descendants by his name, which is theirs. And above the darkness of the future burns the star-strewn heaven of the promise. So shall thy seed be. We sit in the precipice. And for some of us, we use the past as a nostalgic device that makes us feel the diminishment of light in our life. But that is not the Jewish telling of past. It is when we raise story to be a shining light in the sky, to remind us of the dazzling courage of those that have come before us, that it gives us purpose to the future, to see that those lights are what inspire us to lift our eyes and to believe that even in the darkness, there may be visions that call us with place, purpose, and responsibility. And as we enter this year of 2025, may that be an intention for us to step out into the night of mystery, but also the unknown, unwritten possibilities, and to gaze up at the stars that others have placed in our sky, and imagine how we ourselves may be inspired to be the ones who place the next series of stars, the next inspirations for what may come in this year. And I can't think of a better narrative to help introduce a night when later in our service we will be inviting Marilyn Mahler, who has spent a great deal of time trying to dive into the story of her own father. This Shabbat marks exactly 1 century since he became a bar mitzvah, and the way in which the search for his particular story and the stars of his life come to, in many ways, like Rosenzweig said, link grandchild to parent, parent to grandparent, grandparent to great-grandparent. And Marilyn, thank you for all you have done to give us not only a bit of your story in the heart of today's service, but also an offering for us as we begin 2025 so that we ourselves may turn to our stories and find the shining stars to guide us. It is an honor at this time to invite up 2 of our shining stars of our community here, to invite up Nancy Lester and Carl Howard, to bring a bit of the joy that they're holding on to from the past weeks here and to kindle some lights of joy for us as we begin our service found on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlikner shel Shabbat.
Amen. So we're going to begin our service, page 20, Lechadodi.
Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabla. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, Shemu tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabla. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor haberacha, mirosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshava techila. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabla. Toreri, kiva orechu miori, ori, shirdaberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei
invite the community to please rise as you're able and turn to welcome in Shabbat.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'v'tzola toch emunei am segula boi chala boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabla.
We remain standing for our call to worship, page 28.
Yai lai yai yai lai 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 yai lai yai lai lai yai lai yai lai yai yai lai 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 yai lai yai lai lai yai lai yai 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 lai yai lai yai lai yai yai lai lai yai lai lai yai lai yai 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 lai yai lai yai lai yai yai lai yai lai lai yai lai Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed Yai lai yai yai lai 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 yai lai yai yai lai yai lai yai lai yai yai lai 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 yai lai yai lai lai yai lai
Page 34.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam le'yot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We continue now, page 40, Michamocha.
Yai lai lai yai yai lai lai yai lai 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 yai lai ונאמר כי פרנאי את יעקב, וגאה לו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Page 42.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים.
העמידנו שומרנו לחיים.
ושמור
צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים.
We take a moment now to bring into our prayers anyone who enters the Shabbat, enters 2025, struggling, and whether it be in body, in mind, or in spirit. The hope is that in our prayers we may awaken God's companionship in their path to healing, but also awaken our own role that we can play in ensuring that no one is alone through the struggles of health and well-being. We keep in our prayers tonight the restoration of Sandy Sarabin, Tracy Lustig, Cassie Lustig, Patricia Horn, Stephen Schwinder, Mark Miller, Ellen Kirshner, Ricky Dessen, Debbie Plotz-Pierce, Steve Lappin, Ari Ginor, Lainey Wasker, Stanley Reifer, Elaine Herrick, Judy Garber, Francine Lahat, Erica Soskin, Paul Howell, Beth Eli, Elizabeth Wright, Lori Locks, Jan Furstenberg, Scott Hertz, Diego Hidalgo, Susan Edelman, Jonathan Slaff, Eileen Menace, and Julie Dictorow. If there are others you'd like to bring into our communal prayer, we invite you to raise your hand and offer the names as we go around the room. We wish them all a refuah shlema, complete and speedy healing, as we continue with our Misha Berach, our prayer for healing on page 253.
Mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi shebeirach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
At this time, we invite the community to please rise as you're able for our prayer for the captives.
Achenu kol Beit Yisrael, Achenu kol Beit Yisrael, Hanetunim b'tzara uvashivya, haomdim bein bayam uvein bayabasha. Achenu kol Beit Yisrael, Achenu kol Beit Yisrael, Hanetunim b'tzara uvashivya, haomdim bein bayam uvein bayabasha. Hamakom yirachem, yirachem aleihem, v'yotzihem mitzara, lirvacha, v'yafela liora, u'mishibud ligulashta, bagala uvizman kariv. Hamakom yirachem, yirachem aleihem, v'yotzihem mitzara, lirvacha, v'yafela liora, u'mishibud ligulashta, bagala uvizman kariv.
We remain standing now for Tefillah, page 46.
Ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Agadol, Agibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim ve'Konei Akol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei v'Neihem, Le'man Shemo b'Ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, B'chayei Akol atah Rav le'Oshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid agashem, B'chokel chayim b'chesed, B'chayei Akol b'rachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofeh cholim, U'matir asurim, U'mekayem emunato l'shenei afar, Mi chamocha bal gevurot, U'midol meilach, Melech memit u'mechayel, U'matzmiach Yeshua, B'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh Shimcha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom yalalucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakadosh.
We remain standing now for our prayer for the state of Israel. Our God, we pray for the peace, security, and vision of the state of Israel and its people. Spread blessing upon the land and upon all who labor in its interest. Protect the people of Israel during this time of hate, war, and terrorism. Protect the innocent among the Palestinian people, that they may be safe and free from death and injury. Inspire Israel's leaders to both defend our people and follow the ways of righteousness and compassion. Remove from the hearts of our people fear, hatred, malice, strife, and vengeance. May the ancient hope of Zion inspire in us to strive towards Israel's founding ideals of equity and embrace of all her inhabitants. May we raise our eyes towards a future in which everyone in the region, irrespective of religion, ethnicity, and nationality, have the capacity to live in safety and with opportunity. May we be beacons of hope, standing in solidarity with generations of Jewish people, striving for a world of justice, compassion, and peace. As we say together, Amen. Everyone may be seated. We continue now with Vishamru.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam brit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam brit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, asa Adonai.
Shvi Shavat Bayin Avash V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'dorotam Brit Olam V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat.
Page 60.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tazim Leolam. 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 Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tazim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tazim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tazim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tazim Leolam. Tazim Leolam.
We take a moment now for our own silent prayer and reflection.
May the good Lord bless and keep you, whether near or far away. May you find that long-awaited golden day today. May your troubles all be small ones, and your fortune 10 times 10. May the good Lord bless and keep you till we meet again. May you walk with sunlight shining and a bluebird in every tree. May there be a silver lining back of every cloud you see. Fill your dreams with sweet tomorrows. Never mind what might have been. May the good Lord bless and keep you till we meet again. May the good Lord bless and keep you, whether near or far away. May the good you wish for others shine on you today. May your heart stay tuned to music that will cheer the hearts of friends. May the good Lord bless and keep you till we meet again. May you long recall the rainbows, then you'll soon forget the rain. May the warm and tender memories be the ones that will remain. Fill your dreams with sweet tomorrows. Never mind what might have been. May the good Lord bless and keep you till we meet again. May the good Lord bless and keep you till we meet again.
The most repeated commandment in the Tanakh and the Hebrew Bible is Zachor, is to remember and never forget. That if there is one obligation that has been the anthem of Jewish peoplehood, it has been the obligation to carry the stories of our forebears, to see that, just as Rosenzweig had really posited it, is that if we want to see the viability of a future before us, it only may come from the way in which our past may illumine and inspire those who have stumbled and struggled and risen and given us the capacity to exist in this present moment. It is an honor now to invite Marilyn Muller to come forward. Some of us, when we think about moments in our life where we might find a few extra hours here and there, or maybe hundreds upon hundreds of hours, some of us are thinking about ways in which we might take up a new hobby or travel the world. For others of us, we feel that calling of obligation to see the stories, the remnants, the artifacts that have been left for us. And in a way that is maybe no surprise for all of us who know and love Marilyn, who has served this congregation, this community in so many myriad ways. I'm not going to go over all of it, but as one who served for so many years as our trustee, as the chair of our ritual committee, one of our Torah chanter extraordinaire, is one who lifts up her voices in our service in so many ways, but perhaps most powerfully of all, one who understands the very essence of sacred community and chooses to build it each and every time she steps into this community. It is an honor that you've chosen to take some of your personal story and journey, to think of the generations that you represent, Marilyn, and to bring that as a gift for our community, as another way of strengthening the story of this place. It is an honor to have you come forward. to share the story of your father.
Shabbat Shalom. Today, January 3rd, 2025, it is exactly 100 years from the date my father, Julius Mauler, became a bar mitzvah at the Anshe Emet Prayer House in Vienna, Austria. I know this because Julius, or Julius as he was called in the English-speaking communities and countries in which he would later come to live, brought his bar mitzvah prayer book with him on his life's travels. The Anshe Emet Prayer House, a modest synagogue in the working-class district of Favoriten, where Julius and his parents lived, is no longer standing, having been destroyed by the Nazis during the Kristallnacht pogrom of November 1938, along with every other synagogue and prayer house in Vienna but one. Yet Julius's prayer book, which I am holding in my hands, is here with us tonight. Pasted into the inside cover, as you can see in the image projected onto the wall, is an inscription page. It reads in part, "In remembrance of Zion, on the occasion of the bar mitzvah of Yehuda," Julius's Hebrew name, son of Mordechai Mahler, Vienna, 3rd of January, 1925. My sister Ellen discovered the prayer book in a crawl space in the laundry room of her childhood home when we were getting the house ready for sale after our parents had passed away. The prayer book was inside a plastic container, nestled among a treasure trove of letters, documents, and pictures that Julius had brought with him to America. As my siblings and I looked through the items Julius had saved, it was as if he had curated all of the necessary source material to tell the story of his life and was inviting someone to write that story. I have accepted that invitation. The Torah portion Julius chanted 100 years ago, Vayigash, is set deep in the Joseph narrative and is the same one that will be chanted tomorrow morning by B'nai Mitzvah around the world. In so many ways, the Torah portion feels entirely fitting. As young boys, neither Joseph nor Julius could possibly fathom what the future would hold in store for them. Yet both Joseph and Julius were able to draw on a constellation of unique abilities that enabled them to transcend the most difficult of circumstances and not only survive, but thrive on foreign soil. On this milestone anniversary, please allow me to introduce you to Julius and describe how his life unfolded. Julius was born in Kolomea, Poland, now Kolomea, Ukraine, on January 3rd, 1912, to Mordechai Shaya, a carpet weaver, and Sura Gittel, a homemaker. Julius was a beloved only child. The family moved to Vienna when Julius was 9 years old to avail themselves of better economic and educational opportunities. Julius adapted well to life in his new surroundings. He had an outgoing personality, was an excellent student, and he made friends easily. He attended the Vienna Handelsakademie, or Commercial Academy High School, which provided students with a well-rounded education in academic subjects and also trained them for careers in business. Julius thrived at the academy. He proved adept at learning new languages. He was able to solve complicated math problems in his head. And for 3 years running, won the annual Stenografischen Preis Wettschreiben, or Shorthand Writing Prize, awarded by the Viennese Merchants Committee. It was a happy time for Julius and his parents. Julius graduated from the academy in 1930. On the wall, you will see a picture of Julius, seated on the right, with his two best friends, Dolphy Taub, seated on the left, and Walter Schmidtick, standing, on their graduation trip across Central Europe. Following graduation, Julius accepted an offer of work as a salesman in a sizable mill and timber concern, which substantially boosted his family's economic circumstances. But Julius harbored greater ambitions. He sought and was granted admission to the University of Vienna in 1931 to study law. Julius attended law school at night while working full-time during the day. Projected on the wall, you'll see Julius's Meldungsbuch, or record of study from the university. It took Julius 6.5 years until 1938 to obtain his degree, and over the course of those years, dark clouds gathered, gradually and then suddenly, across the Viennese skies. By the close of 1937, Adolf Hitler was openly pressuring the Austrian government to approve unification with Germany, and there were many Austrians strongly in favor of doing so. Anti-Semitism was growing. Against this backdrop, Julius's comprehensive final examination, his rigorosum, was scheduled for the first week of March 1938. The exam was oral, 3 students at a time, questioned by 3 professors. The opening question was directed to Julius. Explain to us, Herr Mulder, why is it that Mussolini's Italy is an example of a true democracy? Julius thought a moment and then responded, to the extent a democracy embodies the will of the people, Mussolini's Italy is a true democracy. The exam proceeded, and to Julius's immense relief, he was awarded his Doctor of Jurisprudence degree on March 8, 1938. Given the events that were about to unfold, Julius was undoubtedly among the last, if not the last Jew to be granted a law degree in Vienna for many years to come. 4 days after Julius received his degree, the 8th Army of the German Wehrmacht crossed the border into Austria, arriving in Vienna on March 15th, where Adolf Hitler addressed 200,000 cheering Austrians, declaring the annexation of Austria by Germany, the Anschluss, to be complete. The Nazis immediately instituted the rapid expropriation of Jewish property and businesses, hand in hand with systematic intimidation of and violence towards Jews, all orchestrated by Adolf Eichmann, one of Hitler's closest deputies. Widespread panic ensued. Jews throughout the country searched for any way possible to emigrate, Julius and his parents among them. The ability to find refuge, however, was expensive and gated by strict quotas, severely limiting options for those looking to leave. On March 21st, the family was dealt another blow. The mill and timber business, where Julius had worked since 1930 and where he was now a branch manager, published the following announcement, which reads in part, as of March 31st, this company is under Aryan management and control and will be required to raise the swastika flag and display new signage declaring it an Aryan German business. Julius's firing would occur soon thereafter, and with it, the family finances would be thrown into disarray. Amid the swirling morass, there was some good news. Julius's uncle, Julius Singer, who had emigrated to New Zealand with his wife Elfrida in the mid-1930s, was able to sponsor Julius's emigration to New Zealand. Sir Gittel and Mordechai Shaya would remain in Vienna, but the family was encouraged that once Julius settled in New Zealand, he would be able to bring them over as well. Julius immediately set to work, securing his permissions. The process was Byzantine and the clock was running. Perhaps most chilling, Julius was required to visit Eichmann's Gestapo headquarters to approve his travel documents. But first, Julius needed a passport, one that would be issued by the Deutsches Reich, as he now lived not in Vienna, Austria, but in Vienna, Germany. The passport, whose image is projected on the wall, was issued on September 8, 1938. The first page, as you can see, was stamped with a large red J for Jew. It would be another 2 months, November 10, 1938, to be exact, before Julius received his visa to New Zealand. The night of November 9th, 10th was also the night of the Kristallnacht pogrom, which ushered in an even more intense round of anti-Semitic violence. Julius recounted an incident that occurred around that time. He had gotten word that some Nazi toughs were looking for him one evening and that he had better find someplace to hide. He quickly left his home and went to the home of his dentist, Dr. Bettelheim, who lived nearby, to see if he could find refuge there. Julius spent the night in the dentist's chair, staying until the coast was clear to go home. Safe passage out was far from certain. Julius was finally able to secure a ticket on the SS Remo ocean liner, departing from Genoa, Italy, for Wellington, New Zealand in mid-December 1938. Several days before the ship's departure, Julius, Sir Gittel, and Mordechai Shaya said their goodbyes at the Vienna train station. Julius promised to do all he could to bring his parents to safety and then boarded the train bound for Genoa. It was the last time he would ever see his parents. Julius was 26 years old. The voyage to Wellington took the better part of 2 months, with the ship arriving in January 1939. It was no doubt an immense relief to be sailing away from the chaos and violence of Vienna. On debarkation, Julius made his way to Auckland for a joyful reunion with Uncle Julius and Aunt Ellie and their daughters, Hetty, Lillian, and baby Pearl. Julius immediately set to work on 2 paramount goals. The first was to find gainful employment so that he could be completely self-sufficient and not be a burden to his uncle. The second was, of course, to extricate Sura and Mordecai from Vienna. Julius scoured the want ads in the Auckland newspaper and applied for any and every job for which he was remotely qualified, and quite a few for which he was wildly overqualified. In his organized and meticulous way, Julius kept a journal that contained a copy of every job inquiry he sent out, with the actual newspaper advertisement pasted onto the letter. Among the jobs he applied for were law clerk, insurance salesman, dispatch clerk with timber experience, furniture storeman, timekeeper, clerk with wool store experience, and theater usher. In applying for the position of theater usher, Julius wrote, "Write your advertisement in today's Herald for a theater usher. I would like to offer my services in that capacity. I am 6 foot 2 inches in height, of good appearance and bearing. I have had a very good education, and I feel sure I could give every satisfaction if my application is favorably considered. I might mention that I have a good wardrobe, as clothes certainly count in such a position. I shall be pleased to attend an interview when any further particulars may be given. Awaiting a favorable reply, I am yours faithfully." Julius ultimately accepted a position at the Residential Construction Company and studied accountancy at the University of New Zealand in the evenings. Back in Vienna, conditions continued their relentless spiral downward. Although Sura and Mordecai tried to convey optimism in their letters, they were also reduced to selling their furniture and subsisting largely on potatoes from the food kitchen. Then, on October 1st, 1939, Sura Giddel and Mordecai Shaya were evicted from their apartment, which was immediately turned over to a non-Jewish family. Sura and Mordecai were relocated to a Sammelwohnung, a crowded collective apartment in the city's Leopoldstadt district. Multiple families, most of whom did not know one another, were assigned to live together. The move was part of a forced internal resettlement of the entire Jewish population in Vienna into a contained area where their movements could be tracked and monitored. Although it was not widely known yet, this relocation was done to facilitate planned mass deportations to the east of the entire remaining Austrian Jewish population. Julius knew of his parents' relocation, but beyond that, information was extremely limited. By 1940, correspondence between Austria and New Zealand, which were now World War II enemy combatants, was limited to aerograms sent through the Red Cross, each not exceeding 25 words, with content restricted to personal and family matters. In the letter displayed, Julius wrote to his parents on March 2nd, 1940, "All is good with me. I am studying at the university in the evenings and working during the day. I am well taken care of by nice people. Thinking about you every day. Be comforted, Julius." His parents reply on the back of the same aerogram, "Dearest son, letters and pictures received. We are glad you are staying with nice people. Do not worry about us. Take care of your health. Eat well. Be comforted. Kisses, parents." Julius received the final communication from his parents in July 1941. Deportations from Vienna began in earnest in the fall of that year to ghettos, concentration camps, and killing fields. There were a total of 47 train transports, each containing approximately 1,000 people. Sura, 51, and Mordecai, 55, were on transport number 12 to Minsk, Belarus, a distance of 800 miles from Vienna, departing on November 28, 1941. At the time, Julius knew none of this. Back in New Zealand, with the war continuing unabated, the need for additional manpower in the armed services was growing. There was a new openness to letting foreign nationals serve, and Julius sought to enlist in the Royal New Zealand Air Force. After extensive vetting, Julius began his service in April 1944, obtaining the rank of leading aircraftman. Based on his background and skill set, Julius was assigned to the quartermaster's area, where his job was to procure goods of all kinds needed throughout the Air Force. He quickly mastered the complicated workflows, arcane procedures, and little-known shortcuts necessary to ensure equipment and supplies arrived where they needed to be in a timely manner. Julius soon became the go-to person if you needed high-value items ASAP. Circling back for a moment to Julius's Torah portion, Vayigash, we learn that Joseph, having become the vizier to the Pharaoh in Egypt, was able to bring his father and brothers to Egypt, reuniting with them and saving them from almost certain death by famine in Israel. Sadly, this is where the Julius narrative departs from the Joseph narrative. In 1946, Julius received the following communication from the director of the Israelitischen Kultusgemeinde, the IKG Vienna, the umbrella organization for all Jewish affairs in Austria. In answer to your writing of October 25th, 1945, we hereby inform you that Herr Mordechai Shaya Mahler does not appear in our files. This only confirmed what Julius had known in his heart was true for several years, that his parents were dead. There was, however, no record of how and where his parents died, though it is not unlikely that they were killed shortly after their arrival in Minsk. In late 1946, with the war having concluded and Julius's demobilization imminent, Julius contemplated the next steps. Most of the members of his extended family who had survived the war lived in New York, as did his best friends from the Handelsakademie in Vienna, Dolphy and Walter, whom you saw in an earlier photo. So Julius applied for a 6-month visa to visit New York, commencing in August 1947. There were many emotional reunions, perhaps none more so than the one with Dolphy. Dolphy was in a serious relationship at the time with a lovely young woman named Claire. Claire, it turned out, had a sister, Rosalind, whom both Claire and Dolphy thought would be a good match for Julius. So the four of them arranged a double date in early September, spending the day in Fort Tryon Park and the Cloisters in Upper Manhattan. Julius and Rosalind hit it off immediately, and in fact, by the end of the day, Julius proposed marriage to Rosalind, and Rosalind accepted. After a whirlwind courtship, Julius and Rosalind married on December 20th, 1947, at Temple Zion on the Grand Concourse in the Bronx. Dolphy and Claire married shortly thereafter, and the two best friends from Vienna became brothers-in-law. And in a full-circle moment, Dolphy and Claire's oldest daughter, my cousin Brenda, and her family are members of Congregation Rod of Shalom. There is much more to tell about Julius, who reinvented himself yet again, founding a successful textile business in New York, but I will stop here other than to say that the marriage to Rosalind was a very happy one, lasting almost 55 years, till death did they part. Julius died on August 12, 2002, at the age of 90, and was buried on August 13th, my birthday. He left behind him his beloved wife, Rosalind, of blessed memory, his 4 children, Denise, of blessed memory, Ellen, Michael, and me, our spouses, and 7 grandchildren, Mark, Adam, Rebecca, Oren, Talia, and Sophie and Serena. Although he did not live long enough to meet them, he also left behind 6 great-grandchildren, each of whom would have been, as he used to say, his pride and joy. They are Rosa, Joey, Khalid, Lev, Ori, and my own grandson, Julius. Lador Vador, Shabbat Shalom.
And as the next generation of Julius, we hope, makes Rod Shalom his home. Grateful to have his namesake and your father's legacy now as a part of the memory of this space and one of those shining stars in the sky. and for all of us searching for our places as we enter this new year. It is sometimes in the stories that we have inherited and the people who shine brightly even beyond death that give us the capacity to have visions in the night that see the possibility of what may be just on the horizon. Thank you, Marilyn, for that gift. This time it is an honor to invite the community to please rise as you're able as we continue with Aleinu on the bottom of page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
As we turn now to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294, we indeed raise our intentions to think of the way in which those lights, those legacies continue to shine brightly even beyond death. If you hear the name of a loved one you're remembering, or if you offer the name of a loved one you're remembering, we invite you to rise as you're able and remain standing in honor of that lasting connection and love. For those who wish, we also have the custom of Rosh Shalom to come to the front to one of these two stations and to take a stone and place it onto slate as a tangible enactment of that love and memory. We begin with the recent losses in our community of Paul Appel, Alvin Beckers, Helene Herslig, Muriel Zuckerman, Amini Goel, Judith Krause, Howard Kaplan, Andrea Alfred, Marcia Yowitz, Barbara Bayer, Joan Scheuer, James Scheuer Jr., and President Jimmy Carter. If there are others in the period of Shiva, the first 7 days of mourning, we invite you to rise as you're able and offer the names. Judy. Those in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning. Thank you. Yep. Thank you. Those within Shana, within the first year of mourning. Steve. Jonah. Thank you. Smani. Thank you. Barbara. Thank you. Thank you, Beth. We remember the Yortzites, the anniversaries of death. Margie. Remember the Yortzites, the anniversaries of death of Molly Abraham, Harriet Aiello, Peter Alterman, Louis Ames, Elizabeth Andren, Abbott Arnstein, Ruth Bascom, Rosalind Bendit, Max Berkowitz, Ira Bernstein, Amelia Blum, Felice Bourne, Abraham Braun, Frank Burke, Irene Buxbaum, Julie Cantor, Walter Cherney, Jack Cohen, Louis Cohen, Ann Cohen, Dorothy Cooper, Beatrice Davidson, Boris Dellin, Jordan Derwin, Minetta Drogan, Kenneth Edelson, Burton Edelson, Norman Faber, Joel Fenner, Susan Finkelstein, Carolyn Friedman, Jennifer Friedman, George Gaffin, Eileen Gallant, Wendy Ganaway, Serge Gaudin, Fanny Goldberg, Eleanor Goldman, Milton Green, Felix Greenhut, Roger Gross, Rose Halles, Adolf Harf, Renee Hollab, William Jacobowitz, Harold Jaffe, Betty Jaffe, Lynn Jaffe, Blanche Joseph, Selma Kalek, Marcia Kaner, Stella Kaplan, Lillian Kaplan, Cornelius Kaplan, Anna Kaufman, Benjamin Kittay, Louis Kleeblatt, Lee Klein, Joseph Kokot, David Levine, Bernice Levitt, Max Leff, Alvin Lightman, Terry Lightman, Allison Leopold, Rhonda Leopold, Marlene Levick, Alexander Levin, Leon Levine, Alice Levy, Lillian Levy, Florence Lichtenstein, Morris Lipschitz, Susie Lowinger, Janet Meisner, William Manischewitz, Edward Metzger, Esther Minkin, Jane Mitnick, Lisa Morgan, Alan Moss, Grace Nissan, Linda Niven, Thomas Peavy, Rose Plitt, Chaim Plutzik, Eva Ponce, Marie Prince, Teresa Quitman, Beatrice Resnick, Valerie Rohan, Sylvia Rosenberg, Joseph Rozoff, Emily Rubin, Muriel Rudick, Richard Sheffrin, Walter Shire, Lillian Schimmel, Serena Schwartz, Millie Seidel, Arlene Seltznick, Velvel Shandarovic, Rita Sherman, Hilda Schulman, Herman Silverman, Mark Scaller, Jack Skolnick, Richard Sonneborn, Stanley Spector, Jack Spector, Shirley Stahl, Eva Stan, Henrietta Steinberg, Harry Summers, Gussie Tchaikovsky, Joseph Toporek, Danielle Topper, Angela Teresi, Stephen Vineker, Jeffrey Vogel, Arnold Watts, Marion Waltzman, Wendell Weitz, Rhoda Wilkes, Sue Rosenauer, Elliot Wright, Malcolm Wright, John Wyman, Michael Wyman, Anna Wyman, Andrew Weissmuller, and Oscar Zuckerman. If there are others you are remembering, we invite you to rise and offer the names. Thank you. Thank you. Les? Thank you. Thank you. Robin? Zichronam Livracha, may their memories forever be a blessing. As our custom at Rosh Shalom, we invite you to rise as able as one community. In community and solidarity, we say together, Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich machutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe Shmei Rabbah Mavorach Leolam Ulamei Almaya Yitzbarach V'yishtabach V'yitzba'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yit'aleh V'yitalal Shmei Kudusha Brichu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechamata Damiran V'yalma V'yimru Amen Yehe Shlama Rabbah Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom.
May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn here and comfort to all who are bereaved everywhere, as we say together, Amen. Everyone may be seated. Just a few brief announcements here. Immediately following our service, a couple of things we want to make sure everyone's aware of. You will notice outside in the lobby there will be a basket of Hershey Kisses. We know that as we enter 2025, and especially with a bit of a polar vortex coming our way, we have some birthday celebrants in the month of January that could use some warmth, some deliciousness, so you'll find some Hershey Kisses to celebrate our January birthdays. Even if that's not you, you can hold on to it and give it to somebody who has a January birthday. We'll trust you on that. Even more important, though, in honor of the gift you have given our community. We're so grateful, Marilyn, to you and Steve, who have sponsored a festive and delicious oneg for us. So we're going to invite everyone to go right through the lobby, down the stairs, and you're going to find a wonderful deliciousness, a chance to connect with Marilyn, meet many of the shining legacies, I would say, of Julius that you get to see in the Bima in a few moments here, and just a chance to connect in the community with the gift that you have given us tonight. A few additional announcements I want to put on your radar screen that next Saturday, January 11th, following our chapel morning service, we'll have a program called The Future of Judaism in America, Navigating the New Realities of Jewish Identity. We're gifted to get to have with us Professor Jerome Chanis, who's the co-author of The Future of Judaism in America, and I'm going to be in dialogue with him. We're going to throw our two books at each other and talk about maybe what's changed a little bit over the past year and a half, and in the shadow and in the light, what do we make sense of in the current world? So you're welcome to join us for that. It should be very interesting. We've got some spicy topics and questions we're going to throw out there for everyone. We're going to be then moving into much more serious conversation the following week. On Wednesday, January 15th, we will be streaming and screening the very difficult, very painful actually, film Screams Before Silence. This is going to be followed also by a talkback. For those of you who have not already seen this, it is of course publicly available. This is a chance to endure the struggle of witnessing this film, but to do it in the context of community and in dialogue that follows it as we continue to hold the obligation of all that has come through the October 7th massacre, but also, of course, the real use of sexual violence and the way in which the mutilation of women is often part of what has been left out of the narrative. And we also want to put on your radar screen that this year, with this particular gratitude to our very own Sally Kaplan for helping to inspire us, again and again across the years, our clergy are going to be doing a three-part series on death and spirituality. Each one of these will go through different layers of how we prepare. What are the immediate realities of death, and what does it mean to go in a grieving process? Our clergy team will each be pairing up to offer spiritual and practical tools. The first of these sessions will be led by Cantor Delow and Rabbi Goldberg in the topic of preparing for death. That will be on Tuesday, January 21st. We are going to be experimenting by having each session offered in two different settings. One is on Zoom, and the other is in person. So pick your poison. Either way, we really encourage everyone to be a part of this learning and this important engagement. At this time, we want to take a moment for anyone to, if you can, find some flexibility, turn around you, find a face you do not yet recognize and know, and greet them, offer some warmth, some connection. And I just want to prepare Wally Weiss to make his way up here, please. So what are you doing tomorrow? So, I do want to just name for a moment that this is probably the last thing in the world that Wally is really wanting right now. And just because I love her dearly, Helen, I'll take all the blame for this, even though really you should, okay? But it's really my fault, okay? So tomorrow is a sacred milestone birthday, and for those of us who have crossed the milestone of 25, we know that this is a big threshold of what it is to cross into adulthood, and since we aren't going to get to be with you tomorrow, we wanted to bring a little of that birthday celebration into our space tonight. And Wally, I want to lift up, in particular, one of the quotes that I center more and more as I find a few more notches on my belt. Marcel Proust said that the great voyage of discovery is not in discovering new lands, not in seeing new lands, but in having new eyes. As we come to these threshold moments, as we think about a world in which we find so much bitterness, so much pain and woundedness that pulls us apart, it makes the sacred treasure of the rare person who's willing to live and love with the fullness of his heart all the more precious for us to celebrate and center. As you look at this threshold, and the wondrous chapters that are yet to come, May you think of the way in that all of the discoveries and voyages you have been on have all about not only helping you arrive at this moment, but allowing you to have the courage to lead with heart. And even as you heal so many out there in the world, most importantly, finding ways of reminding people that they are not alone in whatever may be the journey of their life. For all the ways that you are also the carrier of shining legacy of your parents, in particular to think about the way in which you have modeled the very best of them and inspired so many of us to find our place of belonging in this community. We are grateful to be joining so many others in celebration of you on your birthday. And for anyone else who is joining in a January birthday, please take some of that blessing and heap it on yourself as well. I want to invite up Helen for a moment. Sorry, so if you're going to be upset, you get to have both of you upset with me here. And I want to invite everyone, we're going to do a little birthday singing, not only for Wally here, but for everyone. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Wally. Happy birthday to you. And it is an honor to invite Marilyn to come forward. And everyone who is in the Mahler-Silverberg family, I let you define what that means, but I want to invite you all up. This is a chance to not only celebrate Marilyn, but really to celebrate Julius's shining legacy and what is to have some of that family, that legacy here with us tonight. And invite the community to please rise as you are able. Oh my goodness, Julius himself is here.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'yava uvratzon. Hinchilanu, zikaron lemaseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta Mikomim, Shabbat Kodshecha, Be'ava uvratzon, Hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
L'chaim to Julius. And look at his family. Oh, what a beautiful challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. We pray for peace. We look forward to seeing you downstairs so we can all share a little bit of Shabbat together. Oh, say shalom.